Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another little episode of Loudmouth Chickens and Real Country with Jeff and Melanie. It's breakfast time. We got the puppies out here eating, and we done gathered a few eggs, and Miss Melanie's took them in the house, filling up the water for the babies, and then I'll top off the little swimming pools where they can dip off and cool off. Oh, and just got through feeding the baby turkeys. Gave them some fresh food, fresh water. That new wire I put on there makes it hard for us to see them. Let me roll this off. Take a little better look. There they are. Got them some water and some feed. They growing like weeds. Yeah, I see y'all. Ain't that right, big? That's right. Supposed to be another hot one today. Oh, it's tough to get motivated for everything you need to do. There's Mr. Chicken, little chick. Yeah, it's hot today. Actually gonna be a little bit cooler. I think it's only gonna get up to 93 today, which heat index said it's gonna be probably feel like about 98, 99. But it's better than it has been. And right here, I don't know if I mentioned it a week or two back, had the tree trimmers with the power company come by. They wanted to come in the yard and cut up a bunch of my trees, and nothing against those men, but they're in a hurry. They just wanting to get done with what they got to get done, and they have a lot of territory to cover. They just interested, as a gentleman told me, and they're interested in keeping the lines clear. And I don't blame them. That way a limb don't fall in a storm. But these trees across our front have been here for 20 years. And I went to work on them and tried not to butcher them quite so bad. They still look rough. But at least maybe they won't die. Because we count on what little bit of shade we get in this hot weather. But anyway, we found another little useful small limbs like this. I saw them up in little 12, 16-inch pieces. And I got to fix me a better wood rack than what I got. But I saved the little twigs and used those as a fire starter. But it doesn't have to be precisely 12 to 16 inches. But just in the neighborhood, and when the weather gets a little cooler, we're going to sit out here one evening, have a cup of coffee or hot cocoa, and burn them in the fire pit. Smoke helps keeping the mosquitoes off of you, and you get a little light, and it's just relaxing. And rather than just burn them up for the heck of burning them or haul them off somewhere, it doesn't matter what type of wood it is. Doesn't have to be oak, doesn't have to be hickory. This is just trash wood just to give a little fire. But anyway, that's what's going on this morning here at the farm. Everybody's having breakfast. The girls are getting to work. I see there's two over there getting ready to lay me another egg, I hope. And we'll see what project we can get into next. My water's overflowing, time to fill up the pool, so we'll see y'all in a little bit. Well, hey folks, just thought I'd take this time to do a little tool review, demonstration, and tell you a little story about something that happened to me a couple weeks back. I've unfortunately had a lot of flat tires in my life. And I've had to change them. You know, no big deal. Every guy learns how to do this when you're a teenager before you start driving, get your license. Normally your dads will show you how to change a flat in case you're ever out by yourself. So I'm used to doing it, and there was plenty of times that I had to do it, on my job. So it was nothing new to me. I knew exactly what to do, and I'm in fairly good shape, so it's no big deal. Well, a couple weeks back, my wife and I was headed home, and on her car, which is basically, we got it when it was almost brand new. It passed down to us from my mom when she passed away. Had very low mileage. It's only an 8-year-old car, and this was the first flat that ever happened on this car. So no big deal. I just pulled over. Let me move. My chickens are getting too loud. They hear me talking, they want to chime in. So no big deal. I just pulled off the main road quick as I realized that the tire was going flat, and pulled over and jumped out and was going to do it. Well, I'm used to working on real vehicles, and this is a small Toyota car. So I jump out, and as I'm on my hands and knees trying to figure out, can I fit my jack under the car, several cars go by. We were in the mouth entering a subdivision. I just pulled off on the shoulder and didn't think nothing about it. It was getting close to people getting off work, coming home time, and a lot of traffic. And a few minutes later, I realized my hydraulic floor jack wouldn't fit under the car with a flat tire. So I had to look into the trunk and find what I call the knuckle buster scissor jack. I call it the old TV show Incredible Hulk jack, the one he spun around and busted his knuckles and hulked out with it the first episode. So anyway, I'm in the process trying to figure out where it hooks under the car, and a gentleman in a car pulls up beside me and asks if I need help, and I thanked him and told him no, I'm just going to take a minute, no big deal. Well, this gentleman would not take no for an answer. I had to tell this gentleman 6, 7, 8 times, and I thought I was going to have to get ugly with him. I appreciated what he was offering, but I didn't need the help. I just needed a few seconds to do it, and I'm in no hurry. Well, buddy, he jumped out, and he come over there like a NASCAR pit crew. He had his floor jack, and I said, well, sir, I got one. It just won't fit under there. Oh, okay. Well, I got my scissor knuckle buster and found out where it was and started to get it up. Then he threw his jack under there before I could get mine out a second time, and he jacked it up, and then he proceeded to pull out his toys. And later on, my wife and I figured out that must have really been what was going on. The gentleman had some nice toys and was looking for an excuse to play. And later on, he told me that when he saw me, he had his wife in the car. He was headed home, but he told her I needed help, so he ran home, got all his toys, and come back. Long story short, he had an impact driver. That's what I called it, from Milwaukee. Very nice. I've seen people use them. I've had mechanics that use them, and I've wanted one. But my mechanic actually advised me, said, you really don't need it because you're not going to use it that often. Said, we use it in the business every day. But said, you may use this thing once every 3 to 6 months, if that. And they're high. They're roughly, time you get the battery, the charger, and the tool, you're talking right at $500 or more. But they're nice, and they do work. And the gentleman, he jumped on there real quick and popped them lug nuts off. And we reached and got my spare tire. And then I forgot, we didn't have a real spare tire. We had a Maypop. So we put the Maypop on, and the Maypop really didn't have that much air in it, even though it was brand new from the factory. But like I said, it had been sitting there for 8 years. Well, then he proceeds to pull out the air compressor that looks like a cordless drill and put it on there, and that thing jumped up, and it was fantastic. And we're like, wow, that's great. And before he started, he had what I assumed was a snap-on style, very thick mat, rubber padded mat to put down for your knees. And so anyway, I mean, he just had all the neatest bells and whistles, and boom, 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 boom. He's done in 30 seconds. We let the jack down. The gentleman was real nice, and I told him, I said, look, I'm just ugly. I'm not that old. I have no problem. I've done thousands of these in my life. But anyway, he was a very nice gentleman. I do appreciate his help. But it's the same way now, I'm mad at him a little bit, and my wife's probably mad at him worse. Because after I saw his toys, that made me think, I need some toys. But I'm being a poor boy, so I can't afford to go drop the money. I have a few Milwaukee tools, and I like them. They're real good. But like they said, if you're not going to use it that often, that's a lot of money just to be sitting around collecting dust in the trunk, hoping you get a flat. And nobody wants a flat. So, as I got looking around and investigating, and like I said, this is not going to be a commercial for Harbor Freight. I certainly have nothing to do with Harbor Freight. I'm just a guy off the street. And I've kind of been leery of some of the Harbor Freight tools because I've heard from other people, you know, some of your tools is great. But some of your tools, maybe just throwing some money away. And I may have still. But I went to Harbor Freight and did a little investigating. And let me show you what I got. I'm going to turn this around and have it to where I can talk to you a little bit. So bear with me just a second. Okay. Now, I found this, and I hope I pronounced it right, Bauer 20-volt Hypermax Lithium. Produces 3,000 impacts per minute, 450 foot-pounds bolt breakaway torque, and best results a 3 amp hour battery or better, half-inch impact wrench. Well, when we were there, I actually wound up buying another tool that came with a charger and a battery, a package deal, and then bought this separate because the battery is interchangeable and the recharger works on all of them. So this was, if I remember correctly, roughly about $99. I think that's roughly what I paid. Okay, so I come home and I charge it up. Oh yeah, and while I'm at it, I also bought, and this was, I want to say on that day, $29.99, the Bauer lightweight, compact, powerful, high pressure inflation from 0 to 160 PSI, little cordless power inflator, 20 volt. And I already had the battery and the charger. So let me show you my sexy little toys. Here's my little tool, and let me make sure I got it going the right way. Bear with me. Nope. All right, let me show you now. Here's my wife's car, and here's the lug nut. Get it on there. Now watch this. See that come off? Just that quick. Hey, I'm turning it with my fingertips. I'm not going to take it completely off. But that's amazing. Okay, now let's put it back on. Just reverse it. And double check. And that's tight as Dick's hat, man. I do already have these impact sockets. So that was a win-win. I saved money. I got the same results. And I got a tool. I love it. Now let me pull the battery off. And here is our little Bauer air compressor. Now, after I got home and rearranged everything, I bought some new tires because I figured they were all old and wore out. I took my best used tire and saved it, and the tire dealership got a gentleman to order me a used rim, and we put my best tire on there. So now I have a real full-size spare. I didn't care what the rim looked like, because this is just going to be to get us home in the flat. And then underneath the floor mat down there is the hidden maypop. So that'll give us 2 spares in case we want it. But here's the little compressor. Has a built-in pressure gauge. It's got the little accessories, like if you want to pump up, I'm assuming, like a football or basketball or whatever. But 0 to 160 psi. Now the maypop that I pumped up, it said it held 60 psi. But I got it to 40 and I was really scared I was going to blow the tire up. But let me let you hear this thing. It sounds just like a regular floor model big tank compressor. Listen to this. And it worked. So here's the part. And I went while I was at Harbor Freight and bought me this little utility bag for about $7.99. And it's just perfect. It will hold the air compressor. It will hold the impact. And I just laid a set of those sockets in here to stay at all time. I actually have a couple of them. And, oh yeah, don't let me forget, they also have the heavy duty kneeling pads. Now, I don't know how much the gentleman that helped me that day, his pad cost. It was bigger than this, but this was roughly $5. And I bought 2 of these, so that gives you plenty of room side by side. And that's thick. I just left the plastic on there. It'll eventually tear up, but in the meantime, why snag your material? So, let me turn this thing around. Hello, Duke. Duke's enjoying the shade. It's hot out here today. All right, now we're back to ugly old me. But I roughly paid for the impact wrench and the air compressor. I want to say tax and all, probably about $140, $145. And I bought 2 pads, so $155. That is nowhere near $500 just for the Milwaukee. And it worked. That is the one I just took off and put back on, that lug nut. I've done many since I've got it. I've done so many, I went back and bought a separate impact wrench gun and a separate air compressor. So I got one in my truck too. The thing is, the older you get, you don't want to hurt yourself straining your guts out. You definitely don't want to turn into the Incredible Hulk with a piece of junk, scissor lift to lift up your car. So I carry a floor jack in there. I also carry the pads now. I have 2 pads for each vehicle. And what I'm doing, because of hot weather and I don't want things to get too hot and drain or too hot and explode, we don't keep a battery in the car. I keep the tools there. But when it's time for us to get on the road to go get some groceries or do a little shopping, it takes 30 seconds to grab a battery and pop your trunk, and then just simply put it inside that bag with the tool. When you get home, bring it out. If you need to charge it, charge it. Check them every few days. I am very pleasantly pleased with this. And we save probably $350 or more. Since then, I've been investigating some other of their tools, and so far, I have yet to find one that concerns me it may go bad. They have worked exactly like they said they would, and they may not last. They may not last 5-10 years like a Milwaukee. But if it'll last 2 or 3 for that price in 2 or 3 years, you don't feel so bad if you have to go back and buy another battery, or if you have to go get another tool. To me, it's just cheap insurance. And since normally I'm with my wife when she's down the road, you know, I'm always going to be the grease monkey, the guy that jumps out and gets hot and sweaty and jacks it up. But yeah, the nice gentleman stopped and helped me whether I wanted it or not. And I do appreciate him. It's rare nowadays to find somebody that's willing to help you, whether you need it or not. But he did teach me something and made me spend some extra money, and so my wife may be looking for him for that, because he caused me having to go do a little shopping. But just thought I'd share that with you. They have different batteries. They have a 3 amp hour. They have a 5 amp hour. And I think the other one's a little, I think it's a 2.5. 1.5 or 2.5. But like I said, I've been pleased. Now, I don't use my tools every day. I'm not a professional mechanic or woodworker or whatever I'm doing. I'm your average guy. Just I do it on weekends. I do it in between if some project's up. But if in my time, I have bought tools that cost a lot of money, and it makes you mad if you buy a high dollar one and then by the next time you get back to using it, something won't work. If you can find a little bit cheaper, and I bought the extended warranty on a couple of these tools. Some of them I didn't, but a couple of them I did. And hey, for a year or two, you spend an extra $5, $6. So if it tears up, you just go in there and get another. And I have heard some of their hand tools are that way too, and I have some of that. And the good thing is, what I've been told, if you need to replace something, you just bring the old one in and you walk out with it. Other companies swear they have a lifetime warranty, and nowadays they want you to have to send it to a company. They don't want to deal with you at the store, and if you got to go through all them bells and whistles, that's not a lifetime warranty. But anyway, just thought I'd share this with y'all. Something you may be interested in trying. Probably something most of you out there already know about and heard. But like I said, the older we get, sometimes you'll have a pulled muscle, achy back. Some people have torn muscles and rotator cuffs and bicep issues. And, most days they can do what they want. But every now and then you may get a little hitch and you get along. And it'd be bad to be by yourself, broke down side the road, and can't torque off by hand the lug nuts. And that takes all the work out of it. Just put your hands on it, pull the trigger, and off and on. So I highly recommend these products. I will be using them more, and if something was to change, I'll be the first to let you know. But hopefully everything's looking good, and like I said, I don't tell Miss Melanie, but I done snuck out and got a few other things we're going to talk about on down the road. So till the next time, maybe this will help you a little bit. We'll talk to you later. Well, folks, kind of had thought about showing you a couple more things on today's video, but when you live by Murphy's Law, you better quit while you're ahead. Let me turn around and show you what done come up on me before we can finish. Yeah, that don't look real pretty, especially when our temps is in the middle of the upper 90s and heat indexes of over 100, and right now we got a cool breeze blowing. Where we stay is almost like Tornado Alley. But anyway, just thought I'd show you why we gonna cut today's a little short. We had some other things, but we'll try to get that in the next video. But maybe I can make it in the house before I get soaking wet. And it's starting to thunder and lightning a little bit. Don't want to be out here and tempt nobody. But we appreciate you watching. Hopefully today we showed y'all a few little things. If you like the videos, please hit the like and subscribe. Tell your friends we need all the help we can get. And until tomorrow, if the good Lord's willing the creek don't rise, we'll see y'all then. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.